Hi there YouTube, XtremeTrainz here. So, again, something which I didn't think was going to get to Australia, and so far it hasn't appeared in stores, but from Amazon Australia I did manage to pick up 3 of the, I think there's 4, but of these light up locomotive minis, and I was really excited to get these because I think this is a clever concept for them to do with minis, something I was really curious to see how they actually do it. So, what are you waiting for? Here there in front of me, let's do it. So, as you can see, this is the Thomas and Stephen pack, which I think is a really weird pack combination. It's just, they've picked really weird engines to go together, I think, in this series. But anyway, that's that. You can see that's what light up locomotives, luminesces. You can press them to activate them in the box, collect them all, includes batteries, the new Minis branding. There you go, you can see the other ones there. Track your collection. There you go, flashing light cycle. There are the other 2 sets, which I do have, which is exciting. And you've got an easy pop-out way to open these things up. So what are we waiting for? Let's open them. Alright, here they are, out of the packaging. So, let's look at number 1 engine Thomas first. Firstly, let's just look at what this Mini looks like. So, in terms of Mini, you've got the darker blue translucent wheels, which I always say, love translucent things, so I really like that. You've got a black running board, or undercarriage. You've got a translucent red, and it's that dark red running board, which is really nice to see. You've got the coupling again on the back, and you've got the dark blue translucent body, and then just the normal face with the normal black smoke box. So that's really interesting. The printing as well is all the same as you would see on a normal Thomas Mini. Here's a 2017 Thomas Mini without the weights in it. You can see the printing is all the same. And interestingly, we'll do a comparison later, I'll talk about the sizing, but in that regard, it's the same. So, the difference with these is you can see there's a screw hole underneath versus these ones which have that triangle no tamper screw, because you can actually take these apart, as I'll show you the instructions right now, if I can get them out of the packet, and you can see that you are actually able to replace the batteries, which is really good because I don't like toys they make you can't replace the batteries, particularly like this. As you can see here, there is an easy way to take off the top and change out the little batteries, which is awesome. I'm glad they've included that. They could have very easily made it sealed, but they didn't, so props to them. Okay, so enough blabbering. What does the light up feature do? Well, let's take a look. I'm going to switch off the light in my review table so we can take a better look. Now, if anyone's paying attention, I'd love to know if this is like Morse code or something, but very possibly it's not. But as you can see, there's quite a few different light flashing patterns on here. I don't think we've gotten back to the start yet. Maybe we have now? I've kind of lost track of how many we've done. Yep, okay, we have seen that one before. Yep, so there's quite a few. There's nearly half a dozen, I think, different flashing light patterns. You can see just how much lights up. Now, I guess the only thing to say about that is what a cool effect. But as you can see, really only the back of Thomas lights up, his cab area, which is kind of what I expected, given that obviously the battery's in there and the light is obviously somewhere in the back here. But it is a bit of a shame that only the little back part of him lights up when, you know, he's got a light-up engine and only part of him lights up. So that's a bit of a shame, but I do think he looks really nice. Now, comparing him to a normal Thomas size-wise, I think this Thomas is just a fraction wider. You can see here that there's actually, there's no lip, like his boiler comes right out to the edge of his running board, whereas on a normal Thomas Mini, you can see there's a lot more of a lip. So I think they've made him a tiny bit wider, but everything else looks pretty much identical. Yes, you can see he's made it wider because there's far more space on the side of his water tanks versus the normal Thomas. But that's about the only difference I can see, and obviously there's a cutout for his little light up button. But there you go, that's the Thomas. Now let's take a look at the Stephen. So the Stephen is, again, you've done in the black running board. He has a solid black running board and base. He's got the orangey yellow translucent wheels, which is really nice, and the same orange and yellow body. The printing details look very similar to what they are on the actual Mini, which is good. I'm glad they've done that. Now, if you look at him from the front, you can see his changes are quite obvious. I don't have a Steven here to compare to, unfortunately, but I'm telling you right now that he is a lot fatter to fit in the battery. Normally he's the same width all the way down as his smoke box, and I confirmed that by looking at some photos online. So yes, this one he's been a bit bloated in order to fit the electronics inside of him, which I think is fine. I don't think it's too noticeable, and I don't think it doesn't look too bad. So as you can see a bit clearly, there's the globe in there on one side, and you can see the batteries sitting in the middle there. Again, you can unscrew it if you need to change them. So what are we waiting for? I'm going to switch off the light, and we're going to see if his lighting system is the same. Yep, so it looks like they've all got the same pattern. As you can see, because Steven's light is off-center, whereas Thomas's was a little bit more dispersed. Again, if we have a look at Thomas's, it is still on one side, but it spreads very nicely throughout the back of the engine. Steven's, for some reason, maybe it's because it's yellow LED, it just isn't as bright. Maybe it's because he's got a lot more dark printing along the sides here. It really doesn't light up much of him at all. Like, it kind of lights up half. The other reason too is, as you can see, his activation button is black solid plastic, whereas Thomas's was transparent. So I think that also allowed a little bit more light to come through the other side. But yeah, from here it looks alright, but from this side particularly, it's pretty faint, the actual light feature, and it's very clearly off-center, which I think is a bit of a shame. So I'm going to turn that back on so you can actually see what's going on. So that's the two light up Thomas and Steven. Now, I paid $12.21 Australian, which is very specific, I know, but Amazon has weird prices like that, and I got free shipping because I'm an Amazon Prime member. So that essentially means that these are $6 minis each, versus, you know, if you go to a retail store like a supermarket or something, these are anywhere $2, usually $2, $2.50 for one mini. So these are significantly more expensive than normal Mini. They're a lot heavier than normal Mini, but equally, I think they are quite nice. I think even without the battery feature, if you pulled out the batteries, you would have a nice transparent engine, and I've always said I really like the transparent engines, especially because they have classics designs. There's no weird patterns on here. You're getting them in classic colors, in that nice transparent color, but it's the same, you know, it's a blue Thomas, it's not some weird orange one or something. Plus, if you're into it, you get the bonus of the lights. So I think the light feature was a cool concept. I don't think it's been executed as well as I probably would have liked it to have been executed, which is what I expected from these, to be honest. Particularly with Steven. I think Thomas is alright, but I think Steven is not super great execution. But I still think they're nice minis. So my advice with these, if you're a minis collector, is probably see if you can wait till they come onto sale or clearance, because if you can get them for maybe $10 or $8, I think they'd be far more worth it than the $12.20 that I paid for them. But that's just my opinion. Maybe you have other thoughts about these light up minis. Make sure to comment below and let me know. I'd be curious to know what you think about them. As always, guys, do all that cool stuff on YouTube, and thanks for watching. That's all I've got time for. It's XtremeTrainz.